to reading. Welcome back. We're going to jump straight in. I've prayed and pre-shuffled. I'm just splitting the deck. We've got the World, Death, King of Swords, Six of Swords, Six of Cups, the Emperor, underlying energy, Three of Wands. There's another deck that keeps calling to me, so I'm just going to get a bit of more clarification. Okay. Well, I'm reading for someone. What you need to know is that you're on the right track. The path that you're pushing forward on seems to be the right one for you. You will be getting more signs and synchronicities along the way. I am picking up on doubt. There is some doubt and there's some hesitance, like you seem to be hesitating on something, whether it's pursuing something or even pursuing someone or a relationship or connection with someone. But we're gonna get into that a little bit later. But as a main energy or a main message is that you're on the right path and you're meant to be pushing forward despite the doubt and this hesitancy. You are in a sort of cocoon phase. I do see that you're being prepared for something, or you're being prepared to come out of this cocoon phase where you may feel more sociable again. You may feel like you have more energy. You may feel like more extroverted than you normally are. Right now, I'm seeing more the opposite. I'm seeing that you may feel tired. You may want to preserve your energy. You may be getting drained really easily. You may just want to stay at home or just with a selected few that you trust and feel comfortable with. It is due to this. It's due to you being in a cocoon, meaning that there's a transformation happening here with death. So, in other words, when there's a transformation occurring the way I see it in the cards now, it means old identities of yours, old versions of you are, I guess, falling away. And there's like a newer parts of you or undiscovered parts of you that are now coming out to play or are bound to in the coming weeks and months. So that in itself can be very taxing. It's sort of like shedding skin, just like a snake does, which can be taxing, can cost you energy, and is like an internal process that is happening that can often come with grief. You may be feeling emotional. You may be sort of reminiscing and nostalgic to, I'm getting like a place or an age that you remember where things were very good for you or seemed easy. There's also, for some of you, I'm getting like a longing or yearning for home. So this brings us sort of into starseed territory. Those of you that believe in that concept or believe in that, even if you don't, you may just have this longing for a home that you may not have found yet. In other words, it can just speak of you craving an environment where you feel understood and you feel held and you feel like you can be yourself without being judged for it, misunderstood, where you can rest easy in a space and also in an environment where there are other people. So all in all, it is sort of like I'm getting a really like tired energy, like feeling tired, feeling drained, sort of having enough, even like reaching certain limits. Can be with yourself, can be with people, can be with an environment that you're in. Like I said, it is a cocoon phase that you're in. Cocoon phase is not meant to be comfortable. It's actually often very uncomfortable. So I'm just being reminded of a reading that I'm gonna link below that you can watch if you feel like you want to. It's called it was called You Will Not Feel This Way Forever. You won't feel this way forever. So I'm gonna link that below. Maybe a reassuring message for a few of you that need it right now. So I am seeing here with the King of Swords and the Six of Swords and the Six of Cups and the Empress kind of bringing me into love territory relationships. There seems to be a person in your life that held significance that you needed to walk away from. It's a King of Swords, so it seems to be someone that you had. I'm getting it as someone you had good conversation with. Like there was a level of honesty with this person that stood out. Can you tell me more about this actually? Can you tell me more about this King of Swords and why did the collective need to walk away? Or the person that I'm reading for, the viewer? Oh, interesting. So this person is actually going through the same as you are. They themselves are in a cocoon period as well. There seems to be, because I'm seeing the eternity symbol connecting the both of you, there seems to be, for what I'm hearing, there's a lesson between the both of you. Like the two of you meeting was not a coincidence at all. It was sort of pre-planned, and the collision that happened between the two of you meeting or through you meeting, yeah, is bringing up baggage, heavy lessons, karmic lessons for the both of you. So it seems like this cocoon phase or stage, you both were sort of forced into that through meeting. So in other words, you will notice as you're reading, if you've met a person that after meeting them, even if you had to walk away or even if there's distance now or separation, they triggered, some heaviness and some baggage. There's another reading list that I'm being reminded of that you can watch as an extension is it was something about meeting this person. Wait, let me see. A love that feels destined but is triggering some heavy ancestral baggage is very, very fitting because that's exactly what seems to be happening here for the both of you. So let me see what is meant to come out of this, because it feels like either both of you or one of you feels like it's finished, but the energy is still very open. There's a lot of movement between the two of you. Oh, okay. Well, I'm hearing you caught this person in a lie. The reason why you walked away is that they sort of deceived themselves. They deceived the character, or they deceived a character trait or like a value that they brought to light. So a King of Swords, for example, this could be someone who values honesty and says they value honesty. They value people that are straightforward and straight up and tell them what's up. And it looks like this person deceived themselves by going against their own values or against what they value or against how they presented themselves. So yeah, you may have caught this person in a lie. There was a form of deception here, and it seems like you caught on to that. Like the person that walked away caught on to that. It looks like this person, in your eyes, lacked in integrity, or you just caught them in a lie. Yeah, this was a massive lesson for said person, for this King of Swords, because there's just a strong energy and a strong indication within the cards that they were presenting themselves as someone that they were not. It's like they had an idea of themselves that was like inflated. More so, I mean, it doesn't seem like they were consciously doing so. It's like they were feeding into a story about themselves that other people around them were holding upright. So it's reminding me of a recent TikTok reading where I was picking up on energy, and I was saying like, I was picking up on a person on energy that was getting away with a lot of BS. And it seems like with you, that just was not possible. And again, I just feel like they weren't consciously aware that they were doing that. It's like they had a coping mechanism, or they had the mechanism of walking through life that was working for them up till now, but it was not fully rooted in the truth. They weren't fully backing up that version of themselves that they were presenting to the world, or that image they were presenting to the world. So for you apparently, or for the collective, or for the viewer, yeah, it came across as like a trickster energy. And it seems like either just turned it off, or it just made you be like, no, I'm not gonna be around for this, like this is bullshit. And again, I have the Five of Wands in reverse, so either there was an actual argument about this, an actual conflict, or you moving, like you distancing yourself, and you taking a step back, was taking a step away, was actually bringing up all of these realizations. Like this King of Swords is realizing exactly what I just told you, like what you already realized or what you already saw. They are now realizing that as well. They're like, yeah, they're realizing that they're a fraud, or that you may perceive them as a fraud. And the reason why this hit so heavy apparently is because you actually, with the Emperor and the Six of Cups out, it seems like you know their true nature. And here as well, we're going into territory of you seeing their potential, or you seeing their full capabilities. And this is my whole career as a reader, I've just seen time and time again how you can get caught up in exactly that, seeing someone's potential, but they're not seeing that they're not living up to that potential, and it can cause difficulties. But we don't need to go so much into that, because right here it feels quite rooted and grounded, exactly because the viewer walks away, like you distance yourself, you created separation, which I'm hearing that they created for themselves. This King of Swords created that separation for themselves, because there was a separation between who they were presenting themselves to be and who they truly are. So I'm also getting they were sort of shying away from this King of Swords hasn't integrated certain shadow aspects. Like this is like an energy of when you project yourself into the world as overly good, like I only mean the best for people, I only have good qualities, I only, love and peace for everyone, and one love, and like it's not the full truth. It's just like someone who can't admit to themselves, or can't fully admit that they themselves have a darker, and they have a shadow side or darker side, where they don't always mean the best for everyone, or they have revenge programming, or sometimes they have thoughts of vengeance and violence or whatever. We do have as a clear polarity, like every human being has a shadow side, whether you're gonna stand behind that or not. So apparently you were dealing with someone, this King of Swords was like not really, I want to say not that adept, like they hadn't, either they hadn't fully, I don't know how to describe this. It just seems like they kept it surface level, even with themselves. Like if some darkness would appear, or they were being called to, sort of move through darkness that is within them, they shy away from that, or they would pretend it wasn't there, or it's like they is someone that it was like just holding on to one polarity, and it's not the full truth. And apparently you, my viewer, you may be the opposite polarity. You may be like, as an example, it's just reminding me of, I don't know if some of you watched these interviews, they're called Soft Belly. It's this guy in LA, I think he's from LA, and he does all these interviews on people, and it's really interesting to watch. It's reminding me of one interview, and it was like a girl, she was tattooed, and she had like body modification, and she was saying, well, people see her and they call her demon and they project all this darkness on her, when actually, when you also listen to her, she seems like this absolute sweetest person that wouldn't harm a fly, and just has been through a lot of darkness and had to go through a lot of challenges in her life. And the body modification and the tattoos actually were a part of her coping with trauma and with what she's been through. So it's just to kind of describe, so that I can explain and describe the energy to you more. This King of Swords was like the opposite of that. They're like portraying themselves or showing up in the world as like purely good, but they were actually harboring all these demons and dark thoughts and dark coping mechanisms that may harm other people, whether they want it to harm other people or not. It's a part of them. It's a polarity that they had not integrated yet, and they had not sat with. So this is where also that saying comes, like, hurt people. Like when a person hasn't, or sort of neglects darker aspects within themselves, and they pretend like they're not there and they don't have them, they often leak out in different ways that can actually harm the people around them. And this is a general message that this can happen to all of us. We all of us may have already hurt someone we loved, or someone close to us, without fully consciously doing so, or without realizing it. But the question is, like, how do the two, like, how does this King of Swords move forward? Let's say there has been hurt, or sort of a dark, shadowy aspect of theirs leaked out and hurt you. How will they move on from that? Like, will there be repair? Will there be accountability taken? Like that still seems to be open. Or as a general, when these people hurt other people, whether consciously or unconsciously, how do they move on from that? Do they take accountability, or do they hide behind their persona of like, no, but I'm a good person and I would never do anything like that? Because that's sort of what is like the main topic at hand here. It seems like there's a question around this spread. Is repair possible, and will repair happen? Because whoever I'm reading for, that's why I'm saying it feels like the energy between the two in this connection is still open, because it's not fully clear yet. There seems to have been a rupture, or there seems to have been, this like, okay, you are not who I thought you were, or you are not at all who you're presenting yourself to be. This does not sit right for me, doesn't make me feel good, so I'm going to take a step back, or like break up with you, or separate, like however it manifested for the two of you. But now there's like a question, like I already told you, it just feels like a question is in the air. Is repair possible, or is this how this person moves on even when they've hurt someone? Do they just glaze over it and just pretend like the hurt didn't happen, and they're perfect and they can't do any harm? Yeah, it just looks like someone here inherited a sort of pattern. This is a familiar pattern, or like familiar as in the family system, genetic, where it kind of looks like not exactly attracting the best people or person. Like, it feels like sort of an umbrella or general observation. Like, whoever this is for, you may notice this or have noticed this if you look at your trajectory or your life up until now, that there's just been a constant theme of like attracting betrayal, or attracting people that betray you, attracting people that siphon from you and don't really have the best of intentions. And it just looks like it's sort of weighing heavy on your like it's either weighing heavy on your heart, or it's weighing heavy on your, we could say conscious. There's like a question of where is this coming from, and I can't tell you this is like a pattern in your family, in your lineage. I don't know if you needed to hear that, but when it comes up this way, this is a great topic to address in the one-on-one private sessions with me, especially when it's genetic. We can definitely find more answers for you if this is something you want to explore. I work very differently there than I do with tarot. It's with different charts and a mapping system that I can just find a lot more information. It's usually very interesting, and also we just do more hands-on work. Like if something needs to be addressed, it gets addressed straight within the session. So yeah, I really enjoy working that way. So that's all on my website. You can just book in. I'm kind of not sure what direction I want to go here with you. I feel like we're gonna tune into their energy a bit more, into this King of Cups. This King of Swords, and then I'll tune a bit more into your energy, and we're just gonna find out what exactly is going on here. I'm gonna keep this out, King of Swords. Okay, let's see. What is going on in this King of Swords head? What can you tell me about this person that may be important for the collective, for this viewer? The Devil in reverse, Page of Wands, the Emperor. Okay, so again, this meeting with you was very significant to them. They are definitely, by the looks of it, they want to change the way. It just looks like they're sort of clueless as to where to start and how to do this. And actually, with the Page of Wands, it seems like they really want to talk to you. There's something about you where they feel like they see you as the solution, or they see you as the answer. It's the energy of like the time they spent with you, or the time they were in contact with you. You seem to have brought out, it's like the way you saw them, or the fact that you saw the true nature. It's like they couldn't hide behind a mask anymore, behind a facade. You seem to clearly have seen their flaws, but also you clearly saw their potential. And the way you saw them, like just you seeing them as like a full person, a whole person, with shadow aspects as well as the light aspects, was really significant for them. Like it made them feel like they don't have to pretend. They don't have to pretend with you. They don't have to perform. They don't have to be a mask. And apparently, here with the world, it looks like they were catapulted. Like when you left, or when you disappeared, or when you distanced yourself or broke up with this person, it looks like they did sort of go back into familiar territory. So this can look like they went back to connections that were familiar and comfortable. They went back to habits that are familiar and comfortable. There is an energy of that, but this is done purpose. Like there's purpose behind this. They needed to have this contrast, because this time going back is they're seeing things with a very different eye, because they met you and because they were seen in a way they're not normally seen by other people. It's like the contrast is helping them see through their own baggage and sort of habits. And I just see comfort, like they have like comfort, like those what's it called, kids have like comfort blankets. They just have certain things they do that was like their type of comfort blanket. So again, certain people, connections can be of romantic nature as well, which also sort of just, I'm hearing the word enable. They sort of enabled them to not have to level up or grow or evolve. It's kind of like, but that's what's interesting, is like you seem to have seen, it's like you saw all of that, but with you there's still this like, the High Priestess, it's, I don't know how to explain this. It's like like the comfort blankets that they keep in their life or they have in their life, they're now realizing that is that it doesn't push them, it doesn't push them out of the comfort zone. Like your gaze or your presence or you seeing them for who they truly are, it's like they wanted to hide away from that. It's like, or they still do. It was like a bit too much for them to handle. Like they're just not used to being seen fully, and this is actually this may be a mutual energy, because the the way it's coming up in your spread so strongly, and I keep seeing the world, I feel like there's a mutual energy of them sort of having had a similar effect on you. Basically, it's just two people that see each other clearly. Like you see each other clearly, you see each other for what you're trying to hide or what you have been hiding. So the whole message up to now, you can also like mirror back as to how you may have perceived this connection, or how may you have felt this person saw you, or this person sees you. You as well may have certain aspects you hide of yourself, or a facade you hide behind. So take it as it resonates. But now with this, like just going a bit deeper, it seems like you both had the similar effect on each other. You yourself may recognize how you went back after this connection. You went back to certain habits, or like comfort blankets, your form or your version of comfort blankets. Again, it looks like this was just not, I'm getting that confirmed, this was not a coincidence that you met. You were meant to meet exactly at this time within your life, so that you both kind of get a push that you needed. And I keep seeing the world, and the Fool is highly likely in this case that you're gonna meet again. I just heard why or for what reason, so I'm gonna see if I can get the answer. How with time, 27. Why or how will they meet again? What's the reason behind that? The Tower in reverse. Strength. Yeah, something's not finished. There's like something between the two of you. And it's exactly this repair. It feels like this repairing a rupture will be, if you manage it, if the both of you manage to repair, meaning, yeah, there's been a rupture, there's either been hurt, there's been a sense of, for some of you may even be betrayal, or what you consider to be betrayal, or someone showing up in a way, yeah, that they were presenting themselves like this deception. The deception that came through that I picked up on can register as betrayal as well. So whatever the rupture was, it looks like for the both of you, what could happen is that you are faced with, there is this challenge of, can we repair this? Can we fix this? Are we capable of doing that? It seems to be like, part of your evolution, or part of you evolving as people. And it also seems for one of you, if this can happen, if you can repair and you can fix the rupture, for one person specifically, it's going to be extremely significant, because it's going to give them that feeling of like, this seems to be the King of Swords I'm tapping into, of like, okay, even though I hurt someone, whether I did this consciously or unconsciously, through taking accountability and through owning up to my mistakes, I do not get rejected, I do not get cast out, I actually get more embraced. And just when I said that, I heard Divine Feminine. So this can be either I'm picking up on some within the collective that sort of sit with that subject often, Divine Feminine, and or it can just be actually that Spirit is showing me that these are qualities of a divine feminine and a divine masculine, repairing, like the qualities that may come out of you that are considered divine feminine and divine masculine. And divine feminine in this case would be the one that receives the, whether it's going to be an apology or just like you witnessing this person attempting to fix and repair the rupture, and the divine femme in this case being able to receive that. And sort of this is a part of your quality that you have as well with the high priestess that came out, that you see them full spectrum. Also speaks of someone who has done a lot of internal work, I'm getting, because in that moment you will see it's not so much about you anymore, it's about this person and about them growing and about them evolving. So it's like I'm picking up on, yeah, divine feminine energy, or you living out the quality of when you can receive them. And that is going to be part of the repair. So it's going to be significant for the both of you. Okay. Well, I got that. We can go. I'm going to keep pulling. I said I wanted to see how you're feeling right now, because right now you may feel like that's not possible. Maybe you are extremely hurt or heartbroken. So I'm just going to see, just going to read a bit how you are feeling. Two of Pentacles, Four of Wands in reverse, Temperance. Yeah, so you seem to be sitting in an energy where like this is either you don't see that as being possible, or you just there's been a crack in the foundation. You maybe have an idea of how you want a relationship to feel like or look like, or how it needs to register in your body, and it looks like the way this connection is right now, it registers as like there's a shaky foundation. Like the foundation is not, the foundation I have with this person is either non-existent, or it's not where it needs to be for me to feel safe and for me to trust that this can actually be something. So yeah, it looks like you may be going in and out, you may be hearing a message like this, and you may resonate with a lot of it, and that can sort of make you feel like you have to juggle two truths, like the truth of, okay, there's been a rupture, I don't trust this person, or I don't trust the connection, I don't really see anything coming out of this anymore, even if at one point I did. At the same time, I do still either have hope or sort of feel that it's either unfinished, or that there's still possibility for harmony and for us to come together and create something new, under the condition that the rupture, the hurt and the pain gets acknowledged, and it's not just sort of wiped, under the rug. Like it's not just, we're not just going to ignore that and glaze over that. Like that seems really important. And again, I'm just getting specifically for you or both of you that it's going to be, it just feels like a really healing experience. So this could be because I see the Six of Cups out. You may have memories in your childhood or growing up where there wasn't a lot of repair. This could be seeing, you may have seen this with your family or with parents, like whenever there was hurt, there wasn't really repair, like things were just being glazed over. We would just pretend that everything's okay, even though underlying it wasn't okay. So in other words, you may have grown up in a household or in a family, or you're just used to dynamics where the foundation is shaky in itself. So someone here doesn't know anything else. Like this is just how it's been and how it has been. So that's why exactly this connection seemed to have, the rupture and the betrayal and deception had to happen exactly how it did for the opportunity of repair. Because if you both manage to repair this, and you manage to repair the rupture, and you manage to sort of bring back the possibility of trust, that is going to be a huge breakthrough for the both of you, apparently. Like I said, specifically for one, I'm getting like, okay, even though I made mistakes, even though I hurt someone that I may not have consciously meant to hurt, or through my behavior, or through my coping mechanisms, I hurt someone, even though that happened, when I take accountability and I own up and may reach out my hand, I can actually repair the connection in a way where they don't see me as like the devil or, you know, the worst person alive, but actually can embrace me and can embrace me with my flaws and with also my good sides, but they won't enable, or they won't just glaze over the fact that I do have faults as well. Like, this is me channeling this person, and that's what I'm saying. They have a tendency of being around people that would always do that. They wouldn't hold them accountable, they wouldn't hold them up at a better standard. They were just like, yes man, or, you know, like kissing ass the whole time. And then for the other person, so this could be you, is what I was already picking up on with this, like, okay, you may just not have ever or not often had someone reach out and actually want to repair when they've hurt you. So where's this out again? Okay, in other words as well, it's coming down to certain trust issues that are really flaring up right now. And that's why this whole ordeal feels like quite not only significant, but also confusing, because I'm now picking up on someone who's exactly in between, like, look, this is exactly why I don't trust anyone, this is exactly why relationships don't work out for me, this is exactly why I just need to push forward, do my own thing, you know, like, trust nobody, sort of a belief system that has gotten built up due to, in this case, maybe your house, like how the way you grew up, and because there wasn't a lot of repairing, there wasn't a lot of accountability taken for the treatment or even abuse I'm getting that some of you had experienced. And then also, though, with temperance, like wanting to believe that something else is possible for you, wanting to believe that there's a different ending that is possible, wanting to believe that there are people that generally care for you enough to wanna repair. So that's just a big topic, repair, and right now it seems to be like a bit of confusion of like whether that's really possible or not. And I guess you will see, you know, but it just seems like if and when this repair does happen and it's possible, it's gonna be like a breakthrough. And it's important right now for you to know that whoever did cause the hurt is the one that needs to carry the burden of that. So even if no repair comes and you have to sort of you have to find closure yourself, or you need to even sit with the grief of certain people never apologizing for the way they treated you, never taking accountability, never owning up to their part of the rupture or the breakup or the separation of a relationship, that you may not ever get that from other people. Like, that is a part as well of what the collective I read for seems to be sitting with, which actually the way I'm seeing it is like the cause for some insecurities that you have, and also certain like stories that you tell yourself that actually keep you in a lower state and keep you in a victim mentality. So I'm just gonna ask before we close out what the solution is there. Let's say best case scenario, you get someone reaches out to you, specifically this King of Swords, there's an attempt at repairing the rupture, and or others, this can happen simultaneously, that you will never get that from. So just isn't really giving me the answers that well, okay, now I'm just seeing that it is really confirming that, for one, that some of you already know, like with certain other people where there's may have like it seems like some of you are dealing with multiple ruptures, not just one. And it wasn't it didn't come from your side. It didn't come that you wanted to end these relationships or this specific relationship, or that you wanted it to end, or that you wanted to walk away. It came from like, I have to, because this is bringing chaos. Like, this is chaos, this is harmful, it's hurtful, it's abusive, however you experienced it. Like I said, now I'm getting like a cluster of different relationships that you have moved through. So yeah, some of you really, I'm just getting that confirmed, have to sit and are still sitting with like, some people will never take accountability, they will never take ownership, they will never tell the truth about what happened. They will change the narrative, they will twist it in a way that they end up exactly like I picked up on at the beginning with this King of Swords. It's just an example, but this is now, other people apparently have been doing this as well, or do this as well, where they portray themselves as the good one and make the other person out as the villain. So in other words, someone hurts you, for example, but then instead of owning up and taking accountability and saying sorry, what they do is they change the narrative where they are the good guy and you are the villain. So what I'm hearing for you, what may help with the grief of that, and also with the like, okay, I might never get from this person what I feel like I am due or what I deserve, is that they are showing the limitations, they are showing the limits. How far do you think that said person is going to get in life when they can never take accountability? They can never take ownership for betrayal and hurt and heartbreak they're caused. Imagine the karmic wormhole that they get pulled into. And that's why I'm saying a lot of what is coming through is not your burden, it's their burden. As well with the King of Swords, whether they can come forward and offer you clarity and own up and take accountability, whether they can do that or not, it doesn't take away from your worth, it doesn't take away from who you are as a person, it doesn't take away from your truth, and that you experienced and have experiences that others may never be able to validate, because it would put them in a light that they are not comfortable to face. They are not comfortable to face their own truth. And I'm hearing they're not only like that with you. These are people that, like, as a general energy, these are people, yeah, that they need to control narratives, and they won't grow from that, you know, like they're gonna stagnate. So this as well is also constantly comes through on Patreon, and I mean just with like in different contexts, but I'm just gonna repeat it here, that some you just can't drag them through the finish line. You can't drag them to the level that you see they could be at, for example, or yeah, specifically with the King of Swords now, if you see they have potential, or you see what is capable, even as a relationship, if it's in a romantic way, like what you see could happen or could occur between the two of you, whether they generally are able to step to that to that plate with you, you're gonna have to observe objectively and less with emotions attached, but really from an observer here with the Hermit as well, of like, can they take accountability, can they take ownership of the dark as well as the light aspects, and or are they gonna stay comfortable in a version of themselves that, yeah, they may resort to making you the villain, and them staying in this framework of like, I'm the good person and I can't do anything right, I can't do anything wrong. I'm not going to tell you this, cards. Some of you are going to be surprised. Some of you are going to be surprised as to what happens. So, Yeah, I'm also hearing you just can't expect people to be like the way you are. You know, you can't expect people to move the same way as you do, or to, yeah, just point blank be the way you are, and that can be like that can hurt in itself. Especially when you're faced with like, well, I would never do this, or I would never move this way, or I would never, then it also just shows you sort of like who has the capacity to stay level, like on eye level with you. Like, especially with this, what I picked up on, if you're dealing with people where that like you got hurt, you got betrayed, you got deceived, and they can't take accountability for that, but have to paint you as the villain, have to paint you in a bad picture, or have to start like, slandering and defamation, so that others, they get the confirmation of others of this narrative they're building. Yeah, look, this person is the bad guy, I didn't do anything wrong, when the simplest, most, it's just really a question of, can you as well be honest with yourself that you, as any other human being, have flaws and have ways of interacting and being that may not fully match up with this image that you're projecting into the world. And more often than not, people fall short there and they can't do it because it's a threat to their ego, or they have built something where they are projecting an image, or they are portraying themselves in a world that if they would admit the rupture and they would admit the harm that was caused, it would break everything apart. And like I said, that's not your burden to carry. That is a part of their lessons, that is part of what they need to move through, and also whether they stagnate or whether they can evolve and grow. So I think we pretty much come to the end. Thank you all for staying here. I hope this did help and support you and assist you with certain energies you're moving through. You're more than welcome to join Patreon if you want to do a bit more hands-on work, and just go more into depth and more into certain patterns that may be playing out in your life, more practical advice. That's all on Patreon. But also, you're more than welcome to just stay here, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future readings, interact if you feel called to, whether it's a like, commenting, it just all helps for me as well to just sort of pick up more on your energy moving forward. So again, thank you for being here. I do really appreciate it, and I will see you very soon.